I watched my mother slide the university withdrawal form across the kitchen table, her perfectly manicured nails tapping the paper like a judge's gavel. My acceptance letter to Stanford sat beside it, already crumpled at the edges from where I'd been holding it too tight. "Zelda, be reasonable," she said, not meeting my eyes. "Your brother's wedding is in 3 months. The venue alone costs $40,000. We simply don't have the funds for both." My father stood by the window, silent as always when it mattered. Behind him, I could see my brother Derek's BMW in the driveway, the one they'd bought him last year for his promotion. "Stanford was Dad's dream for me," I said quietly. He told me. "Your father and I have discussed this." Mom's voice went sharp. "Derek is getting married. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event. You can always go to community college next year." My hands shook as I picked up the pen. Derek appeared in the doorway, his fiancée Amanda clinging to his arm like a designer accessory. They both smiled, watching me sign away my future. That smile would haunt me for months. Because in that moment, something inside me didn't just break, it transformed into something harder, sharper, and absolutely done with being the family's afterthought. I couldn't sleep that night. I sat at my desk in the room I'd occupied for 18 years, staring at the acceptance letter I'd hidden in my drawer. Full scholarship to Stanford's engineering program. 4 years of tuition, room, and board covered. They'd made me withdraw anyway. "The wedding needs to be perfect," Mom had said when I'd mentioned the scholarship. "We still need to cover the reception, the flowers, Amanda's dress alterations. $20,000 at minimum. Your living expenses would still cost us money. $20,000 for flower arrangements." But my dreams were negotiable. I pulled out an old notebook Dad had given me years ago, back when he still defended me at dinner tables. Before Derek became the golden child who could do no wrong. I wrote in careful letters, "I will never let them define my worth again." My phone buzzed. A text from my best friend Zara, "College fair tomorrow. Coming?" I stared at the screen. Tomorrow was also the day Derek and Amanda were finalizing wedding invitations that cost more than my entire year's wardrobe. I typed back, "Yes. I'll be there." Sleep came eventually, but my dreams were filled with locked doors and scholarships that slipped through my fingers like water. Growing up, I'd always been the smart one. Derek was the charming one, the social one, the one who made Mom and Dad beam with pride at country club dinners. "Zelda doesn't need attention," Dad used to say. "She's naturally driven." Driven meant invisible. It meant perfect grades that earned a pat on the head while Derek's mediocre report cards got celebrations. It meant working part-time at the library while Derek got an allowance that paid for his weekend trips. I remembered my high school graduation. I'd been valedictorian, standing on stage giving a speech about pursuing dreams. Dad had smiled, but his attention kept drifting to Derek in the audience, checking his phone. Later, Dad had hugged me. "I'm proud of you, sweetheart. You're going to do amazing things." But when Stanford's acceptance arrived, suddenly those amazing things could wait. Because Derek needed a ice sculpture at his reception. Because Amanda wanted a live band instead of a DJ. Because my brother's happiness mattered more than my entire future. I'd swallowed it all. Said yes when they told me to withdraw. Smiled when they asked me to help address wedding invitations. The pattern was so clear now. Every major decision in my life had been overridden by Derek's wants. This pattern was ending today. The college fair was downtown, packed with universities I'd never considered. Zara pulled me toward the community college booth, but something else caught my eye. A woman in a navy blazer stood beside a table marked Alternative Pathways. Behind her, a banner read, Build Tech Apprenticeship Program. "What's this?" I asked, approaching cautiously. She smiled warmly. "A 3-year program that combines online coursework with paid apprenticeships at tech companies. You earn while you learn, graduate debt-free, and most participants get job offers before completion." My heart stuttered. Paid? 30,000 the first year, 45 the second, 60 the third. Plus full benefits. She handed me a brochure. We partner with companies looking for talented engineers. The application deadline is next week. I stared at the glossy paper, hands trembling. This was real. This was possible. But I already withdrew from Stanford. Doesn't matter, she said gently. We don't care about traditional paths. We care about potential. Your test scores qualify you automatically. Zara grabbed my arm, eyes wide. Zelda, this is perfect. The woman, her name tag read Patricia Holmes, wrote her number on a card. Call me. We'd love to have someone with your credentials. I left the fair feeling something I hadn't felt in weeks, hope. That evening, Derek cornered me about the wedding playlist. I smiled and nodded, but my mind was elsewhere, calculating salaries and timelines and freedom. I submitted my application that night. 3 essays, 2 reference letters from my former teachers, and a portfolio of coding projects I'd completed for fun. Patricia called within 48 hours. Zelda, we'd like to interview you. Tomorrow at 2? My hands shook as I agreed. Tomorrow was also Derek's tuxedo fitting, an event Mom insisted I attend to show family support. I texted Mom, can't make the fitting. Have an important appointment. Her response came instantly, Zelda, your brother needs you there. This is his special time. I didn't reply. The interview was in a sleek downtown office. 3 people asked me questions about problem solving, teamwork, and why I wanted to join their program. I want to build things that matter, I said honestly. I want to prove that success doesn't require traditional paths or family money. I want to do this on my own. The lead interviewer, a man named Harrison Harrison Pierce, studied me carefully. That's admirable. Most people your age can't articulate that clearly. 2 days later, the acceptance email arrived. I was in. Starting salary $30,000, placement at a software company downtown. I'd be moving into program housing in 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Right after Derek's wedding. I printed the acceptance letter and hid it in my desk drawer, next to Stanford's crumpled offer. 2 futures. One I'd been forced to abandon. One I'd claimed for myself. Absolutely not, Mom said when I finally told her. We were at dinner, Derek and Amanda present as always. You can't move out. You're 18. You need to finish high school. I graduated, Mom. 2 months ago. Well, you need to stay here. Get a job locally. Help your father with. I have a job. A career program. I'm leaving in August. Derek laughed, actually laughed. A trade school? Really, Zelda? That's embarrassing. It's an engineering apprenticeship. Same thing. Amanda wrinkled her nose. I can't imagine working with my hands. That's so, blue collar. My face burned. I'll be coding, developing software. Sweetheart, Dad finally spoke, voice heavy with disappointment. We expected more from you. Stanford was one thing, but this? This sounds like you're giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm choosing a different path. Mom set down her fork, eyes cold. You're being selfish. After everything we've sacrificed for this family, you're abandoning us for some apprenticeship? You canceled my education for Derek's wedding, I said quietly. The table went silent. Derek's smirk faded slightly. Amanda shifted uncomfortably. That's different, Mom said. The wedding is important. And my future isn't? Don't be dramatic, Derek cut in. You'll find another scholarship. Another school. But I'm only getting married once. I hoped he was right. But I didn't say that. The next morning, I received an email from Patricia. There was an emergency placement available. One of their apprentices had dropped out. Could I start in 2 weeks instead of 6? My heart raced. 2 weeks. Before the wedding. Before I had to watch my parents spend my future on centerpieces and champagne fountains. I called Patricia immediately. I'll take it. Excellent. Housing is ready. You'll be paired with another apprentice, roommate situation. Monthly stipend starts on day 1. I hung up and stared at my room. 18 years of life packed into boxes. 2 weeks to disappear before they even noticed I was gone. Zara helped me pack that weekend. Your parents are going to freak out. Let them. You're really doing this. You're actually leaving. I have to. I folded my favorite sweater, the one Dad bought me for my 16th birthday. If I stay, I'll disappear. I'll become whoever they need me to be, and I'll hate myself for it. You're brave, Zara said softly. I'm desperate, I corrected. There's a difference. But maybe desperation and bravery looked the same from the outside. I wrote a letter to my parents. Not angry, not accusatory. Just honest. I explained the program, the opportunity, the fact that I needed to do this for myself. I left it on the kitchen table the morning I departed, my bags already loaded into Zara's car. By the time they found it, I was already gone. The program housing was a converted warehouse downtown, divided into small apartments for apprentices. My roommate was a girl named Keisha from Oakland, studying data analytics. Your parents cool with this? She asked, helping me unload boxes. Not remotely. She grinned. Same. My mom wanted me to be a nurse. But I hate hospitals. The apartment was tiny but mine. Our shared living room barely fit a couch, but it had huge windows overlooking the city. My bedroom was smaller than my closet at home, but it represented something bigger than space, freedom. My phone exploded with messages. Mom. Dad. Derek. Even Amanda. How could you do this? You're ruining everything. The wedding is in 11 days. You need to come home. I turned off my phone and focused on unpacking. The apprenticeship started immediately. Morning orientation, afternoon coding workshops, evening team projects. The work was intense but exhilarating. For the first time, I wasn't competing with Derek's shadow. I was just Zelda, proving myself through effort and skill. My supervisor, a woman named Jordan Lee, pulled me aside after the first week. You're doing excellent work. The company partner specifically requested you for their team. Really? Really? Keep it up, and you'll have a permanent position before year 2. Derek's wedding arrived. I knew because social media exploded with photos. The venue looked incredible, crystal chandeliers, elaborate floral arrangements, a cake that probably cost more than my entire apprenticeship stipend. Mom looked beautiful in her navy dress. Dad wore his best suit. Derek and Amanda glowed, surrounded by 300 guests who'd flown in from across the country. I scrolled through the photos alone in my apartment, feeling a strange mix of relief and sadness. Relief that I wasn't there, pretending to be happy. Sadness that my absence didn't seem to matter. No one had called. No one had asked me to reconsider. Keisha found me on the couch, phone in hand. You okay? Yeah. Just weird, you know. My brother got married today. Without you there? I chose not to go. They chose to make it easy to stay away. She sat beside me, quiet support. Family's complicated. Yeah. My phone buzzed. Finally, a message. But not from Mom or Dad. It was from my uncle, Dad's younger brother Nathan. Zelda, your father is asking about you. Call when you can. I stared at the message, finger hovering over the delete button. Then I put my phone away and went to bed. Some bridges burned slower than others. 3 months into the program, I'd settled into a routine. Work from 8 to 5, classes online in the evenings, weekends exploring the city or working on side projects. My team at the tech company loved my work. I developed a scheduling algorithm that improved their efficiency by 15%. Jordan submitted it for a company innovation award. "You might actually win this," she said, excitement clear. "The prize is $10,000. $10,000. More than my parents had considered spending on my education." I threw myself into refining the project, working late nights and weekends. Keisha complained that I never slept, but she also brought me coffee and helped debug code when I got stuck. The award ceremony was in December. Jordan insisted I attend, even bought me a professional dress for the occasion. "You look like a real engineer," Keisha teased. "I am a real engineer. You know what I mean." The ceremony was elegant, full of people twice my age with impressive titles. When they called my name for third place, I nearly fell out of my chair. $5,000. And a feature in the company newsletter. Jordan hugged me, proud. This is just the beginning. I believed her. That night, I transferred $3,000 into a savings account I'd opened specifically for emergencies. The rest went toward new equipment and course materials. I sent a copy of the newsletter article to Uncle Nathan. He responded immediately, "Your father saw this. He's proud, even if he hasn't said it." But proud wasn't enough. Not anymore. Christmas approached. I dreaded it. Keisha went home to Oakland, leaving me alone in the apartment with a small fake tree and too much silence. Uncle Nathan called. "Zelda, your mother wants to know if you're coming home for Christmas." "Did she ask you to call?" Pause. "Yes." "Then she can call me herself. She's stubborn. You know that. So am I. Your father misses you. Derek and Amanda ask about you." Derek and Amanda have never asked about me in their lives. Nathan sighed. "This feud is tearing the family apart." "I didn't start the feud, Uncle Nathan. I just stopped accepting being erased. Will you at least think about it?" I promised nothing. Christmas morning, I woke to a package outside my door. Inside, a note from Uncle Nathan and a small box. The note read, "Your father wanted you to have this. He made me promise to get it to you." The box contained Dad's old watch. The one his father had given him. The one he'd always said would be mine someday. I held it, crying for the first time since leaving. Not because I regretted my choice, but because it shouldn't have required leaving for Dad to remember I existed. I wore the watch every day after that. In January, Derek called. Actually called, not texted through intermediaries. "Zelda, we need to talk." "About what?" "About you coming home. Mom's having health issues. Stress-related. The doctor says family drama isn't helping." My stomach twisted. "What kind of health issues?" "High blood pressure. Anxiety attacks. She won't take her medication consistently." "That's not my fault, Derek." "I didn't say it was. But you leaving like that, disappearing, it affected her." "She canceled my education for your wedding flowers," I said, voice steady despite my shaking hands. "She chose you over me, every single time. I'm not coming home to fix problems I didn't create." Jesus, Zelda. When did you become so cold? When I realized being warm and accommodating just meant being walked over. He hung up. Keisha found me sitting on the kitchen floor, phone clutched tight. "Bad news?" I told her everything. The wedding, the withdrawal, Mom's health issues. "You think you should go back?" she asked carefully. "No. But I feel guilty for not feeling guilty enough." "That's growth, not cruelty." "Is it? Or am I just becoming the selfish person they always said I was?" "You're becoming the person who values herself. That's different." I wanted to believe her. February brought unexpected news. The company wanted to promote me to junior developer, a position usually reserved for second-year apprentices. The salary jumped to $55,000. "You've earned this," Jordan said, beaming. "Your work is exceptional. Plus, that innovation award put you on the executive team's radar." 55,000. More than Mom and Dad had spent on Derek's wedding. More than they'd considered investing in my future. I accepted immediately. The promotion came with new responsibilities, leading small projects, mentoring newer apprentices, presenting at team meetings. I thrived under the pressure, finally understanding what it felt like to be valued for competence rather than compliance. Uncle Nathan sent congratulations. "Your father saw the company announcement on LinkedIn. He's telling everyone about his daughter the engineer." "His daughter the engineer he didn't support," I wrote back. "He regrets that." Regret isn't the same as apology. Nathan stopped pushing after that. In March, I moved into a better apartment, still small, but private, no roommate required. Keisha helped me move, happy I was staying close. "You're doing it," she said, surveying my new space. "Building the life you wanted." "Yeah," I agreed. "I really am." But success felt hollow when the people who should have celebrated it most were absent by choice, theirs and mine. April brought the crisis I'd been half expecting. Uncle Nathan called, voice urgent. "Zelda, your father had a heart attack. He's stable, but the doctors want to keep him for observation." The world tilted. "When?" "This morning. Your mother is at the hospital." Derek flew in from his honeymoon early. Honeymoon? Wasn't that months ago? They did a delayed trip. "Listen, Zelda, your father is asking for you." My hands shook. "I'll be there tomorrow." I booked a flight, called Jordan to request emergency leave, and packed a small bag. Keisha drove me to the airport at dawn, squeezing my hand before I left. "You don't owe them anything," she reminded me. "But you owe yourself closure." The hospital was sterile, smelling of antiseptic and fear. Mom sat in the waiting room, looking older than I remembered. Derek paced nearby, phone pressed to his ear. Mom looked up when I entered. For a moment, neither of us moved. "Zelda." Her voice cracked. "You came." "Of course I came." She stood, reaching for me, but something in my posture stopped her. "Your father's resting. They're limiting visitors." "Can I see him?" "Soon. The doctors are running tests." Derek finished his call, eyes widening when he saw me. "Zelda." "Hey. Hey." Awkward silence stretched between us, filled with months of unspoken hurt. Dad looked small in the hospital bed, connected to machines that beeped rhythmically. His eyes were closed, but he opened them when I touched his hand. "Zelda." Relief flooded his face. "You're here." "I'm here, Dad." "I'm sorry." Tears tracked down his weathered cheeks. "I should have defended you. Should have told your mother no. Should have protected your dreams." "Dad, don't. Let me finish. Please." He squeezed my hand weakly. "I failed you. I prioritized keeping peace over keeping promises. Your Stanford acceptance, your future, I let it all get swept aside because it was easier than fighting. You gave me your watch," I said softly. "That meant something. A watch isn't enough. You deserved better. You deserved parents who chose you, not just the child whose demands were loudest." I wanted to be angry, to hold on to the hurt. But he looked so fragile, so genuinely broken. "I'm doing okay, Dad. I have a good job, a good life. I'm figuring it out. Without us. Because we failed you." "Yeah. But I'm still figuring it out." He smiled sadly. "You always were stronger than the rest of us." The nurse came in, ending our conversation. I kissed Dad's forehead and left, feeling lighter and heavier simultaneously. Mom cornered me in the hallway. Zelda, we need to talk. Really talk. We found a quiet corner in the hospital cafeteria. She bought terrible coffee neither of us drank. I'm sorry, she said finally. I know that's inadequate. But I'm sorry for everything. Why Derek? I asked. Why was his happiness always more important than mine? Mom's hands shook around her cup. Because Derek was easy. He was charming and social and made me feel like a good mother without effort. You were self-sufficient. You never complained, never demanded attention. I took that for granted. So I was punished for being low maintenance? Not punished. Overlooked. Which might be worse. It is worse, I said quietly. Because it meant my needs weren't even important enough to see. Mom wiped tears away. Your father's heart attack made me realize how much time we've wasted. How much we've lost. You haven't lost me. I just moved out. You did more than move out. You vanished. You built a whole life without us. Because I had to. You gave me no choice. She nodded slowly. I know. And I'm not asking you to forgive us immediately. But can we try? Can we start over? I stayed in town for a week while Dad recovered. The doctor said the heart attack was moderate but serious, a warning to change lifestyles, reduce stress, take health seriously. Derek and I circled each other carefully, testing boundaries. On the third day, we finally talked properly. I didn't realize how bad it was, he admitted. We sat in the hospital parking lot, sharing coffee. The wedding stuff. Mom canceling Stanford. I knew you were upset, but I thought you'd get over it. Get over having my entire future erased for your flower arrangements. He flinched. When you say it like that, it sounds terrible. It was terrible, Derek. I know. I know that now. He stared at his hands. Amanda and I are having problems. Turns out spending $40,000 on one day doesn't build a strong marriage. I'm sorry. Don't be. You were right. The wedding was excessive. Selfish. He laughed bitterly. Mom spent more on my cake than your entire first year's education would have cost, even with the scholarship. I'm doing fine without their money. I know. I saw your company profile. Junior developer at 19? That's incredible, Zelda. Thanks. I'm proud of you. For what it's worth. It was worth something. Not everything, but something. Uncle Nathan took me to dinner before I flew back. We sat in a quiet restaurant, the kind Dad used to love. Your father asked me to give you something, Nathan said, sliding an envelope across the table. He wanted to do it himself, but the doctors are limiting his stress. Inside was a check. $50,000. What is this? Guilt money, partially. But also genuine support. Your father liquidated some investments. He wants to fund the rest of your apprenticeship program, cover your living expenses, give you the support he should have provided from the start. I stared at the check, emotions warring. I don't need his money. No, you don't. You've proven that. But maybe he needs you to accept it. Maybe that's part of his healing. Or maybe he's trying to buy forgiveness. Maybe. Would that be so wrong? If the money helps you and helps him forgive himself? I folded the check carefully. I'll think about it. That's all he asks. That night, I called Jordan. Hypothetically, if I had $50,000, what would you suggest I do with it? Invest in yourself, she said immediately. Advanced certifications, equipment, maybe even starting your own side business. You have the skills, Zelda. You could build something remarkable. I liked that idea. Building something, not just accepting charity. I returned to work with renewed focus. The $50,000 sat untouched in my account while I considered possibilities. Finally, I made a decision. I used $20,000 to enroll in advanced engineering courses, the kind that would position me for senior roles years earlier than typical. Another 15 went into starting a small consulting business, helping other young people navigate non-traditional education paths. The remaining 15 I saved, tucked away for emergencies or opportunities. Jordan was thrilled when I told her. This is exactly what I hoped you'd do. You're not just succeeding, you're creating infrastructure for others to succeed too. My consulting business started small. I created a website, offered free initial consultations, and slowly built a client base of confused high school graduates unsure about college. You're describing yourself, Keisha observed, watching me work late one night. Yeah. The person I needed a year ago. Think you would have listened? Probably not. But I would have appreciated knowing someone understood. Within 3 months, I had 15 regular clients. Small fees, but steady income and deeply satisfying work. Dad called monthly, checking in, never pushing. I'm proud of you, he'd say. Not just for succeeding, but for how you're helping others. Thanks, Dad. I mean it, Zelda. You're remarkable. In August, exactly 1 year after leaving, I returned home for a planned visit. The house looked the same, but something felt different. Lighter, maybe. Or just less important. Mom had redecorated the living room. Do you like it? She asked nervously. It's nice. Very you. Derek and Amanda weren't there, apparently, they'd separated. Amicable, Mom said. They're figuring things out. Dad looked healthier, having lost weight and changed his diet. Doctor's orders, he joked. But also self-preservation. I want to meet my grandkids someday. Grandkids? I laughed. Dad, I'm barely 20. Someday, he insisted. From you or Derek. Preferably you, you'd be the responsible parent. It felt strange, being home but not belonging here anymore. My room had been converted into a guest room, my belongings boxed and stored. We didn't throw anything away, Mom assured me. Just made space. Space. That's what we'd all needed. Space to grow separately, to become people outside of family roles and expectations. That evening, we sat together properly for the first time in a year. No arguing, no tension. Just conversation about work, life, and futures that looked different than we'd imagined. I'm sorry we lost time, Dad said quietly. But I'm grateful we're finding our way back. My consulting business grew faster than anticipated. By year 2 of my apprenticeship, I had 40 clients and a waiting list. I hired Keisha part-time to help manage administrative work. You're building an empire, she teased. I'm building a support system I wish existed. Same thing. Jordan pulled me aside after a team meeting. The company wants to make you an offer. Full-time senior developer position, $75,000 starting salary. But here's the interesting part, they want to partner with your consulting business. Fund it properly, make it an official company initiative. My heart raced. What does that mean? It means they'd invest capital, provide resources, and you'd run a program helping underprivileged youth access alternative education paths. You'd still work as a developer but spend half your time on the program. That's incredible. You've earned it. So what do you say? Yes. Absolutely yes. I called Dad that night, practically bouncing with excitement. They want to fund my consulting work. Turn it into a real program. His pride was palpable through the phone. That's wonderful, sweetheart. You're changing lives. I'm trying. You're succeeding. After we hung up, I sat in my apartment, overwhelmed by how far I'd come. From signing away Stanford to building something perhaps even better. Something mine. The program launched officially in January. Path Forward Initiative, helping young adults find alternative routes to successful careers. We offered mentoring, resources, connections to apprenticeships and training programs. The company hosted a launch event. My parents attended, dressed formally, pride evident on their faces. "You did this," Mom whispered, squeezing my hand. "You built something remarkable." "Yeah. I did." Derek came too, alone. He pulled me aside during the reception. "Amanda and I finalized the divorce last week." "I'm sorry." "Don't be. We rushed into marriage for the wrong reasons. Spent more time planning one day than planning a lifetime." He smiled sadly. "I'm learning, slowly, what actually matters." "Good. That's good, Derek. I'm proud of you, Zelda. I know I've said it before, but I mean it. You're legitimately incredible." "Thanks. Think you could mentor me? On the whole figuring out life thing?" I laughed. "I'm 20, Derek. I barely have my own life figured out. But you have direction. Purpose. That's more than most people ever find." "Okay. Yeah, I can try." Having Derek ask me for help felt surreal. But also right, somehow. Like pieces rearranging into healthier patterns. 6 months later, Path Forward had helped over 200 young adults find alternative education paths. Success stories poured in, kids who'd felt hopeless now thriving in apprenticeships, trade programs, and specialized training. Jordan nominated me for an Industry Leadership Award. I didn't win, but the nomination itself opened doors to speaking engagements and media opportunities. A local news station interviewed me. "What advice would you give to young people facing family pressure about education?" I thought carefully. Your path doesn't have to look like everyone else's. Success isn't one size fits all. And sometimes, choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. The interview went viral locally. My inbox flooded with messages from parents and teenagers alike, sharing their own stories. Mom called after seeing it. "You're helping so many families avoid the mistakes we made. That's the goal. Thank you. For forgiving us. For letting us back in." "I haven't forgotten what happened," I said honestly. "But I'm choosing to build something better moving forward. For all of us. That's more than we deserve. Maybe. But it's what I need." Forgiveness wasn't linear. Some days I still felt angry, hurt by memories of signing away Stanford. But other days, I recognized that pain had pushed me towards something perhaps even better. On the 2-year anniversary of leaving home, I hosted a celebration at my apartment. Keisha, Jordan, Uncle Nathan, even Derek attended. My parents came last, carrying flowers and nervous smiles. To Zelda, Dad raised his glass. Who taught us that strength looks different than we thought? Who built a future we couldn't imagine? Who proved that our failures as parents couldn't stop her from succeeding anyway? Dad. Let me finish. You are remarkable. Not despite us, but despite everything. We're honored to be part of your life, even in this smaller capacity. You're still my parents, I said softly. Still my family. We're just figuring out what that means differently now. Mom hugged me, crying quietly. I'm so proud of you. I know, Mom. Finally. The evening felt healing, like pieces of broken pottery glued back together. Not perfect, but whole enough. Functional enough. Later, Derek helped me clean up. You know what's funny, he said. I thought my wedding was the most important thing. Turns out, your leaving was more transformative for this family than any ceremony. Transformation is often painful. Yeah, but necessary. You forced us all to grow up. Especially me. You're doing okay? Getting there. Started therapy. Working on myself instead of blaming everyone else. That's good, Derek. Really good. 5 years later, I stood in the headquarters of Path Forward, now a nationally recognized nonprofit with 12 regional offices. We'd helped thousands of young adults find alternative education paths, proving that traditional routes weren't the only way to succeed. My parents sat in the front row of our annual gala, beaming with genuine pride. Derek was there too, volunteering regularly with our mentorship program. 5 years ago, I told the assembled crowd, I thought my life was ending. My parents canceled my college enrollment to fund my brother's wedding. I felt erased, invisible, worthless. Mom wiped tears away. Dad held her hand. But that loss forced me to build something new. Something mine. Something that now helps others facing similar crossroads. I don't recommend the path I took. Family rupture is painful, traumatic. But I do recommend the lesson: your worth isn't determined by others' priorities. Your dreams matter. Your future matters. And sometimes, choosing yourself is the most radical act of love. The audience erupted in applause. Awards were given, stories shared, futures celebrated. Afterward, Dad hugged me tightly. Your grandfather would be so proud. I'm so proud. Thanks for the watch, Dad. I wear it every day. It suits you. Mom joined us, completing the circle. Thank you for not giving up on us completely. Family's complicated, I said, echoing Keisha's words from years ago. But worth fighting for, in the right ways. We weren't perfect. We'd never be traditional. But we were real, honest, and trying. And sometimes, that was enough.